Hello, welcome to our first news video. We're going to be doing another one. We're going to be breaking down just a few things that I've been, currently having to address because of the current things that have been going around. But I want to give it to you. You want to first do your research before saying the thing that you are saying, right? Right. There's a little more from where that came from. So I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something special today. We're just going to. I'm gonna first explain piece by piece what this is about, right? DYSMN, right? Towards your fans, haters, whatever. My side, your side. It's not about sides, my friend. But I do have something to explain, right? I do have something in the show. And there's much more, right? So the museum thing that I told you all about, that's not a lie. That's not a lie. I'm gonna explain this piece by piece, right? We're gonna explain this piece by piece. What does Moteness even mean, sir? Alright, we're gonna break it down for you. I'm gonna continue to say that line until people, fully understand the brunt of what they have just done over yesterday. By the way, welcome to our first news video. We break down a few cool things that I need to definitely cover up on this channel because David Wise and Vince fans are quite careless and they're quite shit. But I don't have to treat them like animals. Nor to pass the point. So when somebody asked me what a Motenist is, and then I said I invented it along with Porcalis art style, some dumb idiot tried to do the but you're copying. I did not copy off of Jan Parcellis. This is Jan Parcellis's art. This is nowhere near the art I draw. I do not draw boats and oceans and clouds. I do not famously draw clouds and boats and lots of water. As a matter of fact, MN7 barely has any sort of scenery where there was water involved or any form of, well, liquids can be appearing, right? Sorts of essences will appear. I do not draw boats. Second, this is spelled wrong. It's Porcalis. It is not Parcellis. I've been repeatedly telling these people that is not spelled Porcellus. I said Porcalis. Every one of these people are the very people who support DYSMN, right? Every one of these people. Both infamous for fact checking people like some guy we've never heard of. You said nobody? This guy is larger than DYSMN. I'm sorry. I even got blocked by Chiba reviews, if that's a shocker enough. If you clearly want to go around trying to say that you think about that you hate this and you hate that and you hate that, you want to at least first know what you're hating, and first know what I'm dissing. Like even people that I diss, the fact that you don't even know Nicholas Light is already stupidity on your part, right? The man is not exactly nobody, right? He's already a present in the face around the Twitch scene and Tectone. This guy's been around for years, so I'm afraid your statement won't hold up. Like I've already repeatedly told people, you want to first know who you are talking about, not just me. The people who I later reference, also you have to make sure you know about because that's not consistent. That's not consistent. Yo, music this, music that, dumbass, you're a peasant, doesn't matter to me or anybody. Trying to dictate other things, other people do things, cut your crap. I can't even read this because of how terribly written it is. I can't even, how am I supposed to take a person who can't even spell right? Like, seriously. I can't even do that. Then, we have this. The people actually care about AI this and AI that, and I am, in my opinion, if the end product was good, what are these people complaining? You can't even spell! You literally can't spell. Then, unfortunately, there's an argument to be made against generative and how it is used, given how many people and corporations alike aren't using it ethically. But the thing is, most of those morons pointing fingers that they don't understand that he isn't using generative AI for music. I know what generative AI music is. That doesn't exist. Most music is generated through a more specific, different type of AI. Generative AI is more for scientific purposes, right? It's for typing, it's for characters, it's for person, it's for studying sessions. That's what generative AI is. Simplified, generative AI has different forms. It is an LLM, a language learning model. That doesn't have to be fully explained. for me to understand that. Then, if he can't take them to appropriately respond to Val, who literally made every film reason to be reasonable, then he's not going to give anyone else the time of day that comes to DYSMN's defense. This makes no sense. The fact that they ironically love Vito987 while hating on somebody like me. In fact, I like Vito987. I like the channel and the content that he produces. I know the programming and effort behind that. Happens to be that I've been around VTubers for a long time, way before DYSMN and their debut around on the internet. Another thing is that they usually continue to joke about the things that they talk about. Alright, here's another one. I'll stand he'll probably make a video about it once again complain that AI uses AI and everything. I have literally specifically said, right? I specifically have said DYSMN does not fully use AI in everything. I've specifically even said that. I call it AI slop so that people can stay in a video due to retention rate. I've repeatedly said. I literally repeatedly said. The retention rate, thumbnails, all these things, labeling, not even finished yet. We still have more to go down. In his second video, he said, "I'm just giving DYSMN exposure like he is doing something." So let me first explain that. You are fucking stupid. All right, we're not done. I'm gonna have to explain this. All right, when you give exposure to somebody, you cover their content on your own channel for the very purposes to either give them a platform, talk about their content, or transformatively review any certain content that they've made that could possibly be covered underneath copyright. That is exposure. Why are you laughing about me giving exposure to somebody who is already numerous times larger than I am? Doesn't make sense. Don't get it. And I'm going to voice over it at a different time because obviously none of these people know what they're talking about, right? Do they literally not know what generalist is? Generalist is somebody who generates content, right? Generates content in forms of media transformatively. Somebody who's a generalist literally is what DYSMN does. What DYSMN does is generate forms of content even if it's assisted, right? Generates content in multiple forms transformatively to an audience and passing it off, right? That's, you're generating content, you're generous, you're fully embracing the AI aspect. That doesn't mean you're fully all AI. You're just embracing aspects of AI, but you're still making content with AI, right? That's the very general purpose. That's what generalism is. Generous. It's a simple thing. It's an early thing that even people, not just me, use this term. Again, generous is a real thing. It's a real term. Another is that most of these people usually joke about not being able to spell, and it says a lot about their character. Now we've yet to fully review DYSMN's music, so we're gonna do that because this video is gonna be on my third channel. You can't expect me to put this on my official, because then that official channel of mine should be just not copyrighted, right? Only I continue to uphold a copyright on that channel, right? If it's my own songs, I play my own songs on that channel, my official channel, it should be fine, but not for DYSMN. I have to cover it on the third channel, right? And then I will send this to people who will be curious enough about it, and then whatever questions that they have. But right now, I'm merely putting segments of this video down so that all of you can see this part in segments. So I already told you that the Koshas Amendment actually happens to be available in my very own Discord server. Shocker, right? So in the Discord server, which is right here, the very document I sent in pieces in my server, it's already public. There's even the link I had just recently opened. I opened this link, and here it is. I've already shown it. It literally just goes through all of it, right? It just breaks it down in the most simple way possible. And by the way, Motonism has existed for numerous years. It's existed since 2012 and 2014. Do not stray away from the topic, but the very Motonism thing, yes, literally was made very long ago. Also, this is not inspired by religion. It even says it right here, which ironically, because people are too fucking stupid to do their research, a Motonist does not worship any god whatsoever. Cultural Liyue is not in this narrative. They do not obey a king or a god. They work in a team. They do not isolate and keep everything to themselves. As a matter of fact, they intend to evolve into sociological rhetoric. Literally. They navigate the world consciously, knowing their effect on the world, refusing manipulation or corruption. Instead, to pursue a balance between creation, logic, and empathy. They see themselves not as an isolated entities of a system, but factors within a whole, larger whole, right? Actively in the factor of many, individuals who strengthen the collective through informed actions, conscious means, and non-violent means. It's not religion, and a framework for ethical awareness. Like, this is literally something that has nothing to do with religion of the sorts you say about like God or something, right? I do not believe in God. I think most of you don't even know the barest minimum. You couldn't even go to my server to find a link towards the Kosher Amendment, which happens to be that yes, I actually typed in where you could find it. When you go through the search bar, it even says it right here. I said it right here specifically. I specifically mentioned that you had AI system music. I am known as Emotinus Generis, an inventor of the Porcalis art style. It was pretty simple and straightforward. Generis is someone who generates content in different spectrums of media generation in relation to content creation. This expands to entertainment media as well. You aren't someone who only uses AI for everything, since your large pivot to assist and not full AI resolutions. Then why someone does not use AI generated illustrations is not something which is disputed and is something he is transparent about. And further, simply having AI generate artwork does not mean that the song itself is AI. And I do not agree with that. Actually, I disagree. It's absolutely factually wrong. I've literally, throughout the video, explained how the artwork is fully AI. The artwork is fully AI. The songs, which I'm about to review real soon, this is a very short section in the video. The songs I'm about to analyze will tell you all about it, right? The details you might miss because you don't actually make music yourself, right? You make no attempts to justify the claim that the song itself is AI. Yes, I do. It is unlikely that you know how to tell. So, I want you to listen to this. Hundreds of good deeds, still you stare like I'm a fucking disease. So this is my issue with AI vocals. This is not what that's not what I'm talking about, but I will get to the part where I talk about the similar usage of sounds that you've been using. This is what I've been noticing is you sometimes reuse certain fills and roles in your songs, but I can't. A little advice for you is that most of the guitars that you usually play in the song that you usually compose with, most of those guitars that you utilize are very soft. They're like extremely compressed to Friendly Oblivion. You have to pan down this a little. Okay, so I'm going to explain what I mean by that, right? Because I'm basically saying only bullshit if I can't prove myself. Alright, so I'm going to show you what I mean. Because this channel is not even copyrighted, right? I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by compression. I'm not stopping you, but it's simply something I'm noticing. So you can tell it sounds different. Now I want you to hear this. I know how to tell what AI music is, but despite that, you still feel like making these inflammatory statements that are not inflammatory. The vast majority of your statements lack actual justification, which is unfortunate to see. You've only said nothing burgers. I will ignore that segment. Play me a song. Play me a song. Easy. Straightforward. You have talent. Yeah, I believe you. Absolutely. You showed me some mid-eye around how you do it. You only show me the melody part. Why aren't the other segments being shown to me? I looked into some of the other files that they would send, but they never show all the other parts. They never show all the other parts. So that's why I'm very skeptical, because the first time that they showed me evidence of how they put these things down in MIDI, they only show me one track or two tracks, but nothing else, right? But they don't fully break it down. Another is that the AI components are synthesized vocals and illustrations. This is what the user says. The only AI components within this. Yeah, of course. Who else would be singing for DYSMN constantly if they had put vocals in it? Look at DYSM's own FAQ for certain fact information. Don't make rash assumptions based on superficial notions. I did not make this based off of superficial notions. Here you go. It says it specifically right here. DAW, Reaper, that exists. Yes. VSTs, all this. Amp Sims, they even break this. Then they go down with the Neural, DSP, Rebea, Tim Henson, Picture. These are just plugins, basically. And then River FX Suite, Air Windows. These are just more plugins. MIDI instruments, these are the instruments that they would use, right? Bass P, Bass TR6, Guitar M, Eclipse, Hellraiser. A lot of people often utilize this. Some of the people, some indie artists I know utilize that. And Synths, Polowski, OBXD. Yeah, okay. And then they go bound the Machinado, MIDI drums, the guitar. They go on the guitar, but as you notice, they're all still plugins. I'm not against full use of plugins. In fact, as a matter of fact, a lot of the instruments that I utilize in most of my songs are fully electronica based. Do you use AI? Yes. Is your music AI generated? No. Then how do you use AI? Check the plugins above for automating the production process of my music. But they don't show how to, but they did list the plugins that they use, right? And the instruments. Does AI write the music for you? No. How long does it take you to make a song? 6 to 20 hours. Totally believable. If you use AI, doesn't that mean the music is AI generated? No. No. I have not said that. Are MIDI instruments AI? No. I already know this thing, which ironically, it's like they're explaining this because they think I said that the instruments that they utilize is fully AI. I did say that they were AI. But aspects of the music is AI assisted, so it's a little different right here, but who might have blamed? I utilize MIDI instruments for some of my music, and sometimes I do full recordings, which you sometimes do with my piano. So, you can test that out. Back in the good old days, we used to bang sticks together and live record all our tracks in the vinyl, so we could really feel the sound. Why don't you? This is what he says right here. Back in the old days, you don't have to have a full live kit in order to use drums, but I don't get paid for that hour. They said right here. Can't you just do everything yourself without help? Yes, technically yes, spiritually I'm tired. Don't get it. Why do you use modern technology? That's cheating. That's not cheating. Okay, today's performance music police. I did it. So for files that are completely unaware, if anybody has been doing the research, you notice that I have playlists out there showing the vast range of genres I have visited throughout the years, which visit all sorts of genres and spectrums. So I think this one is kind of a more like they were trying to do a burn on anything I might have said about you have to play it naturally. No, I already know that the freak out about EDM music back then in the 90s and 2000s was already the same. People were like, you can't play a guitar so you're not a musician. No, right? Since you already did all the hard work, can I have your whole project file so I can skip the part where I learn how to do it myself? No. Why are people... Okay, so some reason people have actually asked them for the project file. You don't just usually give project files to people, so I'm not with one about this. You should be transparent about this. I am being transparent about this. Well, yes, they are, actually. So, there's that. Alright. In regards to the wiki, which did employ stories which were largely written by AI based off of a prompt, right? Written by AI based off of a prompt. It has since been removed and it's not exactly a significant component of DYSMN's identity as an artist. Well, yeah, it's outdated now, right? There you go. You made minimal attempts to understand artists in their process and have not done no work to either prove or verify the AI nature of the songs, which you claim is indisputable. Your claims make numerous assumptions, all of which are unjustified. I have not even said that the songs are fully AI generated. Most songs cannot achieve the structure I've been hearing from the songs. Most songs that they have been making do not have AI generated aspects that I usually find in many AI songs because the songs actually have structure. So I want to get that out of the way. I have not said that it's fully AI. Then we have more. Your claims to make numerous assumptions, all of which are unjustified. How he doesn't know how equipment works. It's not a claim you can earnestly defend. What I mean by how equipment works. I'm talking about mixing and mastering equipment, like real items with buttons and wires, like real equipment in relation to that. As a matter of fact, my setup has speakers and an actual PC next to it, along with the monitor and my keyboard's right there. The process around utilizing instruments and technology or equipment I meant by physical equipment, not just plugins. The plugin usage is not something wrong, actually. Rather, I have just said that MIDI instruments exist and it's there to help make the process of making music more affordable. But I guess that wasn't translated into my video. Now, I first said that lots of it was AI at first. Did I say it was fully AI? Yeah, absolutely. In the beginning, in the second video, I was like, all right, their songs are not fully AI, because then I looked into their songs a little more. Then I had somebody looked in and was like, yeah, they have structure. They're just horribly mixed. I've not gotten into that. All right, then we have something like this. Again, the instruments are AI generated. This is not a big secret or something he's trying to hide. I'm not saying he's trying to hide it now, because actually in the beginning, when the merch sales were up, he was trying to hide the artwork. Then it's taken down. Right, it's gone. But it's gone. The man's wiped out isn't a lot of his merch. It's still around. He still has his entire merch around. He still has this. He still has the latest on YouTube. He still has this, and you even have this newsletter, for whenever the stuff gets released and stuff, right? He still has the merch line. One difference is everything that used to be there is not there. I had to literally check myself when I went over to his Royal Road profile for DYSMN, right? And he was last active on this site since 4 a.m. at January 18, 2006. This man no longer has fictions listed underneath his name. It is like, I don't see anything underneath his name under his profile. All of the reviews, favorites, and threads and posts. So right here. It's gone. It's gone. Subscribe for more, by the way. If you haven't subscribed, I'm just saying, you should probably do it. Look at this. It's gone. He's not hiding it anymore, right? So there's a difference. Hiding it and not hiding it. There's no hiding anymore. So this is obviously outdated. The video is already aged up. And at this point, I'm leaving this video up there because I just want to see how raw this things could get from here. Then, this says nothing about the quality of the music nor its value as art. That will be determined yet. And no, art is not the music part. As a matter of fact, I've repeatedly said that the art and music are not usually, when they could work in harmony, but they don't have to be a full piece, right? They don't have to be fully connected together. So I haven't even gone through that yet. Then, if there's a significant problem with you, just why is such a big problem for you? I have, and leave it at that. Escalating to saying that Daniel is not an artist is disingenuous and disrespectful, especially when you put so little effort into creating this slanderous video. Actually, I did put a bit of effort into the video. Did I do enough effort? No. No. I clearly did not do enough effort. So I will say, no, I did not do enough effort. No, absolutely not. I think I need to do more. You conclude that your video as if you have proven everything or made some sort of point. Yes, I did at the end of the video, the first video. Saying that it is AI used in a negative manner is also exceptionally vague. Beyond that, I actually explored this in my videos. The use of AI can very determine different sorts of products and results that you get from people. It doesn't have to be only in the creative industry, which I've specifically said repeatedly for many years. I've said this before. I'm not looking at the moral aspect of it. I'm looking at the ethics, the pronunciations of the ethics explored throughout the portrayal of morals uniquely to each individual creator that is in relation to creation. I don't get how people missed that, but maybe I didn't explain it down enough, but I don't blame them. This first video could seem like it's slanderous. Don't blame you. I will break it down a little more. Then, beyond that, you fundamentally misrepresented how DSM implements and utilizes AI. Any conclusions drawn from such bases are invalid, as you cannot make sound justifications if the first principle is inaccurate. No. This right here, we've yet to explore, and I'm about to review that, which is very interesting. So no, this is right, and this is also wrong. If you have an actual stance on AI and generation arts, then that is one thing. But leaving your ideas in such an unrefined form and then broadcasting them is arrogant to an unfathomable degree. No, it's not arrogant. It's a part of what I am. Actually, most of the time, I address things like this. And if I didn't do enough research, because DOSMN was very private about that, by the way, back in the day when I saw DOSMN a year ago and 7 months ago and 2 years ago, so you all know I discovered DOSMN a long time ago, so there's a difference there. So I usually go into the info and break down things, right? Usually how people there. They usually list down what they use for the specific music that they produce. And DOSM did not do that in the first few years of their existence, or since a year ago. They only started putting it down until because of everything that went down. But besides that, while your video lacks any substance at all, there are some general tips for making content in general which you may want to consider. Maybe try running a script before hitting record and rambling. Actually, so this is something I need to tell people. So, not exactly hitting record and rambling. I usually collect my thoughts before I go into a video. I don't usually go down into a ramble. The video could have been 1/3 of the length. No, I don't think so. So the thing is that I usually try to do things in one take. The thing is I don't do the video within one thought of a mind, right? I usually do the videos with things already layered before I go break it down into a video. So it's not ramble. It's more like intellectual rambling. If you want to make fun of it, I'll call it intellectual rambling so that you have a benefit of doubt. Another is that half the time you're speaking, no point is even being made. It's also very difficult to follow what you're saying because you jump from point to point haphazardly, because that's how I roll. As a matter of fact, I usually jump from point to point really quickly, because if anybody's been watching the channel for 8 actual years, you will notice that this is not the first time I've done this, because people actually enjoy my content for that. I'm not somebody who stays streamlined on one thing. Another is that also the goofy music playing in the background towards the start of the video was an interesting choice. If you're going to go out of your way to share opinions like this, improving the quality of your videos would increase the potential impact that they may have. Yeah, that I disagree. I need to break this down. Well, actually, let's finally go into their music, right? I'm not stopping you, but it's simply something I'm noticing. By the way, the vocals suck. I'll break this down later. We're not on vocals right now. We're talking about purely just the instrumentation. Is DOSMN a real artist? Absolutely. They are a music artist. Absolutely. Structure. I see structure. Could there be improvements in the instrument quality and a little bit of the orchestration that they're doing with melodies? Absolutely. There could be growth there. Because then you'll hear that this right here sounds completely different. You're going to hear that the mixes sound extremely different. Me. People swear I'm if I fucking disappear like my pulses. If I need to show an example where somebody's doing rap metal, I'll show you right after this. This right here is Clawfinger Catch Me. This one right here, you also is a little bit of hip hop and rap.
Looking at the people that are gathering around. I've been here for an hour, or maybe even more, just looking looking at two people that I never see. Stupid little faces are all I can see. The silly little suckers are all laughing at me. No wills, cheap thrills, your puppets to the master. Your only satisfaction is my lonely disaster. You learn.
And again, it's not to disqualify what DOSMN is doing. Right here. Here's another one. I assume that little cut there was meant to be was on purpose. I think my headphones go a bit. Alright. So if anybody wants to know what this is, basically this is some sort of progressive metal, prog metal, has elements of symphonics in there. There's a little bit of symphonic element in there, but it's not fully symphonic due to the amount of synths it utilizes. But it's more like something like that. And there are certain beatdowns. There's sometimes they do the little slower pace, but it's still within the 160 to 170 BPM range. At times some of their songs hit 140, 150. And yeah, if you are somebody who doesn't make music, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, because when I've ever mentioned tempo, beat, rhythms, and sign signatures, you probably have no clue what I'm talking about. But basically their music has constant shifts and changes, like Yes back in the day. What I mean by Yes is the old band from the 70s and 80s. So something that I need to critique first is that how you do these transitions constantly going like this within 4 minutes. Most people who would hear these songs are usually going to find it to be troubling with the amount of changes it does, but because I'm somebody who's been used to all sorts of really crazy indie music that usually goes through many shifts and changes, and even tonal changes, key changes, and genre changes, and even completely changing the song structure as a whole, I've been there before, and man, it is rough out there. But DOSMN, why is your music like this? I'm not fully alien to DOSMN. As a matter of fact, I was around when they were a lot more newer to the game. The huge difference is, I want to give you a point of concern, but also a point of advice. DOSMN, when did you start putting less effort into your mixing and mastering over the years? Because your song is dynamically more open and is a lot less compressed compared to the songs you've been making. Right? You have graphics, you have full breakdowns, you utilize effects, you utilize chops, you utilize a bit of the cutting technique, and your mix is a lot more open and larger and dynamic. Suddenly now your mixing is a lot more smaller and compressed, right? And you're sacrificing that quality and your little changes that you're going through right here, right? Here's what I mean. You put a lot less into the mixing now. Like you've completely went for like you're going for like quantity rather than quality. But hey, you're getting more songs made. You're getting that out there. I'm not here to stop you. Let me pronounce it right. There are quarter notes and 16 notes are more like this and not like duh, 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 duh. They're not in like 4/4. They're usually a lot faster, and their songs usually have switches like these. Like that was just a solo. It's just a breakdown. It's a solo breakdown. I don't see anything music wrong about this. One thing I did learn was that I can make my mix sound a little more larger because the drums are too isolated for me. I was still experimenting with heavy metal by then. As a matter of fact, this is the only ever second heavy metal related song that I've ever made. This is the only second heavy metal song. And you could say it's all different things, right? But it has instruments like hybrid orchestral elements, right? And for your information, all of that music was made on my phone. And I want you to look at this. So I do have something in works, and I'm able to show everything right here. You can see it. These are real segments. These are real that. Literally, it's all made on my phone. All made on my phone. There's certain parts of it that extend, but that's not the full point. Look at that. And do you want me to play it? Well, you'll see once I release the song, because I can't exactly do reviews like that due to legal reasons, right? Because I have to later release it properly with a photo and all that stuff. But besides that, I think DOI is not an artist. No. They are a music artist. A music artist. They are not an artist. Now, for the writing part, we have this, which I've yet to discuss, which is the story segment. You all will not care about the story segment. You're here for the music and art. Here's for the people who want to care about the writing part. As a matter of fact, this is all typed in by me. This is not even everything. So you all know this is not even everything. This is part of like numerous journals and sketchbooks that I have that exist. So yeah, all of this right here, which is not over yet because I have to put this in from journals that I actually own and put it onto this computer.